Okay, so now I want to talk to you about what I call sitting in the work versus analyzing it. There are a number of people that I work with that I notice they start their work and they're in their head, very much in their head, thinking about the situation, thinking about what happened, totally in their head. And when they describe the situation or come up with their statements to work, they're from that analytical viewpoint. That is a very different place to be here versus sitting in your work, which is to do with here, your emotion, and the emotion that you felt in that moment when whatever happened, happened. The difference when you sit in the work and get in touch with the emotion is that the statements that you come up with are shorter because they're from the emotion. Let me describe let me explain in using an example what I'm talking about. I'm standing across the bench and at my sink with my husband. He's just said something and he's not listening to what I'm saying. So he's totally blah, 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 blah. Now, if I'm in my head, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see him standing there. I'm going to hear him blah, 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 blah. And my word's going to be, he's ignoring me. That's a statement that's come out of my head because it's me analyzing what's going on. Now, if I go to the place of being in touch with my emotion, what I notice is this. First of all, there's anger, real rage type anger. And if I allow myself to just be in that anger and then drop through the anger, what happens is I get in touch with a feeling of hurt. And that feeling of hurt has me, if I sit with the hurt, then my statement is, he's not listening to me. And it feels different because that's the statement that's coming from my hurt emotion. He's not listening to me. You can hear the emotion behind that. And so it's a very different thing to do the work or find your statements from your analytical mind versus really being in touch with the emotion and letting the emotion speak. That's what I like to call it. It's let the emotion speak. Let the emotion, if you sit in the emotion, you don't need to go anywhere near your mind because what will happen is the emotion will give you the statement. If you sit long enough, you'll hear it. You'll hear the statement come out of the emotion. It's a really interesting concept, and yet I found that it works. And sometimes what I will do is I will ask a person to write a worksheet from here, and then I go back and I ask them to describe the situation to me in minute detail, where they were, what was happening, what was the other person doing, what was the other person saying, where were they in relation to you. Get really, really close to the detail. And I've already done another video for you on that particular thing, unpacking the moment. But get really, really close to the detail because when you get close to the detail, the emotion is there. And if you sit in that emotion and then I ask you, what are you feeling? You're going to be able to tell me what the emotion is because you'll feel it. You'll be right back there and you'll feel the emotion. And then if you sit in that emotion, you can't help but find the statement. The statement will present itself to you. You don't need to go looking for it. So this is a whole different approach to doing the work, sitting in the work, not just doing the work in your mind. It's a very different way of doing it. And what I find is when you sit in the work and you sit in the emotion and you find the statement from the emotion and that's what you work, the emotion dissolves. There's no longer a trigger. Things no longer continue to come up. So this is the trick, that if you are noticing that you are doing the work and things keep coming up over and over and over again, my guess is you're doing it here. You're not doing it from the emotion. Just a trick. Give it a go.